Welcome to SoCal Sports Report's Quick Blast. I am John Stillman along with Vince Morales. Our target is USC football. I think the Trojans did a tremendous job by hiring their new coach, Lincoln Riley. Vinny is a USC alum, a guy that bleeds cardinal and gold, and I'm sure he's excited. This should be a tremendous boost, not only to USC, but to the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has to be a relevant conference, and this will give them a shot in the arm. This guy comes from Oklahoma, where he was in the CPA playoffs 3 out of 5 years, won 4 championships in the Big 12, and he's going to, he's energetic, he's enthusiastic, he's young, he's dedicated, and he's a great recruiter. He's already brought a couple of 5-star recruits that he recruited for Oklahoma back to USC. So he's going to do a job. Let's let Vinny take it from there.
Yeah, John, it's better than any USC fan could have hoped as far as coaches are concerned. This is not only someone who is young and vibrant and, as you say, a great recruiter, but more importantly than snatching away some of the recruits that he had that were committed to Oklahoma, he is bringing a coaching staff that is superb and superior to anything that USC has had. The culture had just fallen apart under Clay Helton, and that's why Clay Helton is a Georgia Southern, a trash assignment, a trash job for a good guy but a terrible coach. And Lincoln Riley has now been elevated and will hopefully elevate the USC Trojans program to the status of returning to the status of blue blood. And I think that it's a perfect hire. It's fantastic, and I think there's just one cherry on top of this that still needs to be added, and that is Bill Bedenbaugh, the offensive line coach. I think they're still in negotiations. I think the intention was for Bill Bedenbaugh, who's a tremendous offensive line coach, to come over. And to me, that's the key for elevating USC to a perennial power again, is controlling the offensive line, controlling the line of scrimmage on the offensive side, protecting the quarterback, and getting a run game that has getting it going, one that has been anemic for a number of years under Helton.
Now we need to get back to the Pete Carroll era, where we dominated, and you always saw USC in the preseason top 10, top 15. They were normally there at the end of the year as well, and it's just been a disaster since Pete Carroll left. I mean, it's one mistake after another. I think a big problem was you brought in all the ex-USC football players to be your AD. They had no management experience. They had no clue what they were doing. They were completely lost, and the decisions were disastrous. Bringing in a guy, what's his name, Dick Brome from Cincinnati was a hit.
Mike Brome, yeah.
Yeah, he is just, he's dynamic. He came in last year and he took his time. He said, all right, I'm going to look it over. I'm not going to make a harsh decision. Let's see what we got here. And he found out and he made the decision. And the thing that impresses me the most, this name was never out there. You saw names and lists and projections and speculation of this coach and that coach and Iowa State and Baylor. This guy was never there. They kept this right under the hat. That's exactly the way they should have done it.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, and something that was so shocking and surprising that I don't think anybody could have predicted it. Not only an excellent coach, but well established in Oklahoma. There may have been some rumblings there with some of the boosters. But here's the thing, Lincoln Riley has said, look, I'm not interested in the Texas job. I'm not interested in X, Y, or Z job. I'm not going to be the coach of Texas. And he claims that all of it happened in one day. You got a phone call in the morning. They made the offer to him, and they signed him by that afternoon. And I think that in context, That is true. But I think the thing that everybody needs to understand is there are back channels, just like there is in politics. There are back channels and conversations that are happening amongst the biggest, wealthiest boosters and those that are well connected with agents who are having these discussions behind the scenes. And so we know that there had to have been conversations happening behind the scenes with either Riley's agent or friends of Riley to sort of gauge his interest and whether or not he would even consider it. Because let's be frank, it would have been an absolute embarrassment if it were to leak out that USC was going after an established coach with a program as big as Oklahoma and swung and missed on it. And you know, for me, miracles happen. That loss in Bedlam to Oklahoma State may have been just the thing, the tipping point that may have made Lincoln Riley consider, well, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this in the SEC. I'm not going to be able to elevate this team in the SEC. I need to go to a program that can attract the talent. Because look, there's talent in Texas where Oklahoma draws from. There's some talent in Oklahoma, but there is talent right in the Los Angeles area, in Southern California, throughout California, and USC can draw from all over the country. And to me, he's well established in recruiting in this area. Bryce Young was someone who he was after, and Bryce Young speaks very highly of Lincoln Riley, even though he didn't end up at Oklahoma, ended up at Alabama. That is somebody who Lincoln Riley was capable of landing.
I wonder, we'll never know, but I'm curious as to when the athletic director actually first thought of Lincoln Riley. Like I say, it all went down so fast, but like you say, there had to be behind the scenes unfolding. So it's got to be, he had to be thinking about it for, I don't know, a couple of weeks or something to just, I don't think he could put it all together in one day, but I'm sure glad it was kept under the cover, because that could have been the worst possible, that would have been disastrous for something like that, like you said, to come out. But this guy's a great recruiter too. He's already brought back a couple of modern day kids, and he'll go all over the country. He's well respected, well known. He's been shore to shore and coast to coast. He's not Clay Helton walking in there and who? What was your name again? So this guy is number one. He's got the talent. He's got the he's personable. He gets along. He's enthusiastic, energetic, young. I think it's a perfect fit.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. A young man with a young family and decades of great football potentially ahead of him. I can't say enough about this. I was so surprised and so shocked that his name was even in there. I didn't believe it when my friends were texting me that there might be. In fact, I had texted that I had heard it as a rumor, and I was a little incredulous. And my buddies were saying, "Wow, I hadn't heard this at all." And then within about an hour after I texted them that morning, we were saying, "Wow, this is happening," and we were very excited about it. I'm going to read you something from Antonio Morales, no relation, from theathletic.com. And he wrote this about Lincoln Riley. Backed by an exciting offense, a defined approach, and relentless energy, Riley remained a factor within the Southern California recruiting scene. From there, forcing more West Coast blue chip prospects to consider a pitch from halfway across the country in Norman. Now USC is banking on Riley's recruiting prowess to rebuild its fence around Southern California and keep the region's best players at home. And the region's best players have taken notice, and that is true. 5-star 2023 quarterback Malachi Nelson has flipped his commitment from Oklahoma to USC, and he will follow Lincoln Riley. That was one of the big ones. 5-star running back Raleek Brown, also he's from next year's class. And then Nelson's Los Alamitos teammate, 2023 5-star receiver Makai Lemon. All three committed to Oklahoma earlier this year. And in addition to that, the Trojans have now gotten 2022 blue chip prospect Damani Jackson, C.J. Williams and David Bailey, and 2023 blue chippers Matayo Ugi Alalele and Roderick Pleasant, who was an LSU transfer. And to me, it already these things are. Excuse me, Roderick Pleasant was not the LSU transfer. That's Eli Ricks, and so it's just unbelievable what will be happening here now. And but let's not get it too twisted, right? The Trojans recruiting class, it still has a ways to go. They're currently ranked 90th with just 5 commitments so far. So Riley has some work to do for next year. But as long as the USC faithful doesn't expect miracles and an immediate turnaround, we're going to see better football. We're going to see better talent and recruits. We're going to see improvement, but we're not going to see perhaps a 10 or 11 win season.
Right.
And we just need to get that out of our head. And the talent just was never developed with Helton, and that will change under Lincoln Riley and these coaches that he's bringing in, particularly, Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator. Riley has acted as his own offensive coordinator. I don't know that there's any word whether or not Graham Harrell will stay. I don't know what's going on there, but the big one is the offensive line, Bill Bedenbaugh, and if they can woo him away. The one thing that I will say is the recruiting classes that Lincoln Riley has been able to get. Riley bumped Oklahoma's average recruiting class. It was ranked around 12th or 13th nationally every year from 2010 through 2017. And his average class ranking in his 4 recruiting classes ranked 9th. And he signed 15 top 100 players over that span, equaling the number of top 100 prospects the Sooners had signed in their previous 7 classes. And that's something that, again, Antonio Morales, if you haven't read it, in The Athletic, writes about. And over the moon with this, quite a coup. And it will be, I think, celebrated by Trojan fans for quite a long time. And the fact that President Carol Folt gave Mike Bone the reins and let him go after it, they've outlaid a lot of money, and they got it done.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And like you said, there will be more bodies in the seats at the Coliseum. You can bet on that, but you can't, like you said, you can't expect a 9-2, 10-1 Rose Bowl team next year. I mean, this is going to take time. He has to get his guys in there. He has to get them oriented and together on the same page. But I do guarantee you one thing. I think he'll get to a bowl game before our buddy Chip Kelly did. What did it take him? 4 years, the Bruins, to get to a bowl game? Yeah, I think SC will be the quicker than
this
that.
is his fifth. This is his 5th season. So again, there was a point where I was ruining where UCLA had risen to, and I think it's pretty typical. And I like to bash my Crosstown UCLA brethren sometimes, but they expect greater things out of their football program, and yet are never quite are never quite satisfied with what they get. I think what you saw this year out of the Bruins, the highs and the lows, that's about it. I don't think Chip Kelly is an especially good recruiter. I think the fact that he hasn't tried to recreate what he did in Oregon at UCLA means that there's something missing, perhaps from his offensive coordinator or the other coaches around him. I don't think Chip Kelly is what the Bruins expected him to be. And several weeks ago, after that terrible loss to the Bruins, I really thought that maybe UCLA was ahead of the Trojans. I don't think that anymore now with Lincoln Riley. I think it's a huge move. It's a huge step. Again, there may be some parity in LA for at least next year, the foreseeable future. But after that, the sky's the limit with Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I think it was a great hire and a great move. And I know the base is excited. The donors, I'm sure, are excited, and everybody that is a Trojan is excited, and with reason to be. I think that does it. Vinny, do you have any closing comments?
The only closing comment is it's such a shame that the Trojan fans didn't get to see more of Drake London this year. Named Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year despite missing several games. Just a fantastic player, and we wish him well. And I wish he was sticking around, because I'd like to see him in the new air raid offense under Lincoln Riley next year.
There you go. Well, thank you very much. Until next time, then, we are out.
Good night.